Okay, so today what we are going to do, we are going to do a to-do app using Django and React. We're going to use Django based on Python in the backend, and in the front end, we're going to use React. So first of all, I want just show it is going to look like. So this is a to-do list that we are going to do, a simple base. Okay, it will be easy just to add new to-dos. We add here, more one to do, more another. And yes, and this is going directly to the database. So for example, if we refresh here, we still have the to-dos, and we have like some things. We have like the checkbox. So for example, if we toggle the checkbox, we are going to shift the status from incomplete to done. Each time that we add a to-do, we also have a date, new to-do, as you can see here. And we can also delete and edit. When we edit, we open do, edit. And if you come here, we have the test that it still remain. You can also close, which does nothing. Okay, this is what we are going to do. As we can see, we have and this is in the Django backend. This is all the list that we are using here. Okay, first of all, we are going to set up the project, and we are going to separate that webs, the backend in one folder and the front end in another folder. So let's actually let me show you how we're going to do this. Okay, now we are going to start the project. You can create that in any folder. I'm going to create here. So first, I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to name to do app, and I'm going to open my terminal here. So first, first step, we have to create a virtual environment. So to create a virtual environment, you do Python mv and you give the name of the environment. I will just name it nv. And as you can see, we create here environment. So now we need to activate it. So to activate, we just have to go to find that path. So if I'm here, in my case, this is different for everybody, but in my case, I have nv script, and I'm going to activate nv. Okay, a typo, scripts, activate. Okay, and we can see that the environment is activated when you have the nv on here. Okay, so actually we did that step. So to activate the environment, you in my case, I'm doing that way. If it is a Mac, I believe it's nv, and besides here we have bin instead of scripts. And if you are using the Windows command, you don't need to use source. Okay, so now let's install Django. And Django is being installed. Okay, so Django is installed now, but since we are using the Django REST framework and we want to integrate it with React, we're also going to install the Django REST framework and the Django course headers. It's going to be necessary to integrate it with React. And let's install. Okay, so this is installed now. The next step is to start the project. So start the project, we do Django admin start project, and we are going to name it backend. Okay, as we can see, we have created the backend here. So now let's see the backend, and we just have to start a new app. So it's going to be Python manage.py start app, and we are going to name it to do. And as you can see here, we have like the backend with this main folder with the settings.py, and this is the new app that we create. Also the PI files. Okay, now we have the backend. We just have to install the React app. So for this, let's go to the root folder, to the to-do app, and for this, it's very straightforward to create. We're going to use uh, the width to create the React app. So you just use to use that command line. This is the name of the folder that we're going to create, and this is to say that you want to create an app on React. Okay, the app was created. Now you just need to cd to the front end here, and let's install npm. And while install, as you can see, we have like the typical React folder where you have the source, the main, the app, but we are going to see that better in VS Studio Code. Okay, now that the npm is installed, I'm going to cd the previous folder to the root folder, just so we can finally open Visual Studio Code. And to open, you just use this in the terminal, cold and dot to open all. As you can see, we have here our main folder for the React app, and here we have the backend in Python. Now I prefer to work in the terminal on Visual Studio Code after doing the first install. So for now, let's open a new terminal, and we can open like more 3, because here is I like a terminal to run the Django server, one to run the React server, and the other two to use one for Django and one for React. Okay, so let's start the Django server, cd to backend here, and let's do Python manage.py run server. I have migration apply, but it's working. So as we can see, we have the Django server running on port 8000, which is that one. And here I will rename this RS for React server. We're going to cd to the front end, and we do npm run dev, and we have our React server running. Okay, let's do this, and we don't need that more. Okay, so we have on server for Django, which is working successfully, and on for React which is also working fine. Okay, now we have the main apps, the Django and the React running. So to finish we just have to do some modifications in the settings, and this is why we install the course headers, because we need to allow for the course origins. We need to tell Django, then it can communicate with this port on React. Because what are we going to do? We are going to create our backend information on the Django server, and that information that in the database is going to be retrieved in the React. So for this, we have to state that you want the course headers. We're just saying to Django to allow from this port. And also, we can also not forget okay, we can also not forget to install the RESTful framework and the course headers in our settings, install apps. And here is going to be the to-do that we can see here, that it's apps. Actually, our name is to-do, it's not main. You just have to change this for to-do. And there is only one more thing to integrate the course headers, is actually to add the deadline here. It can be anywhere here, but we can use there. And okay, after now we have the Django app that is running, and also the React app which is running. So the things that this is the main setup that we do for all the Django and React projects. And what we're going to do, we are going to create some models here. After this, we are going to create serializer that are going to go to views, and these views are going to be triggered in the URLs. Okay, so now we are ready. We will start to code our backend. So yes, let's clean this a bit. Okay, so first thing we have to do is to create a model for our app, or to-do app. And to create a model, we just have to create a class that we're going to name to-do, and we're going to inherit it from models.model. And now this is the information that we want to have in the database. For this, we'll create like a body. This is where our to-do is going. Let's create like a character field with max length, let's say 300. Let's create a Boolean field to say if the task is complete or not. So you just have to do like model.Boolean field, and let's make the default equal false, because you are not starting with the task complete. After that, let's make the updated. This is for when the date when we update the to-do. So for this, you are going to use the data time field It's going to be auto now here. And if you want to see the extensions that I'm using for autocomplete and all that stuff, usually use like you have like the Python, IntelliSense, Pylance. I'm also going to use Tailwind IntelliSense, and you also want to do that for you also want that one for the React, and also that one. Okay, next we have the body complete. Let's also create the created. This is the date when we create. So let's use the datetime field again. Now we don't want this. We want to the auto now add equal to true. This means that it's going each time that you create an instance of the class. In other words, if you create a to do, it will automatically create the date for that to do. Okay, so now the model it's done. So now with that model, we have to serialize it, which is to convert, which means to convert it for a JSON object. And to do this, we are here and we create a new file going to be named serializers.py. Okay. And now that you are ready, have installed the REST framework, we just have to import the serializers from the Django REST framework. Let's also import the models from all the previous files. We're going to import the models, and you are going to create the class of the serializer. So we're going to name it to do serializer, and let's say serializers model serializer, and the model serializer allows us to use all that fields to populate our serializer. And after we just have to create this class meta, and the model that you are going to do that are going to use is the to do, and the fields we can choose the fields that we want, but in that case we want all of them, so we just do fields dot fields all. Okay, so now we have the backend for the to do. It's very easy. So now we did the models first here. With that models, we are going to populate the serializer. It's actually to convert this in the serializer. It's going to be easy to visualize after we see this. And now we have to create the views. Okay, the views can be very complicated or very easy, depending on which views we are using. In this case, we are going to use the model view set. It is like the easiest way to create a crude application API using Django, which is the last code that you are going to use. I'm going also to do another one with the API view, but in that case, we want to maintain things simple. So I'm going to use the view sets. So just have to import the view sets from the React framework. And also let's import our serializer that you created, and also our model. Put something here. Serializers from also that way. From all, let's import models. Okay, we just have to create the view now. The view, let's going to set to do view set, and we're going to inherit it for our model view set. Okay, so what we need for the view set, first we need the query set. So this is a field that we are going to retrieve all the information from our model. To do objects dot all. And the next step is to pass our serializer class. That's we're going to retrieve from our file serializer. Okay, and for our backend, it's only this. This is the for the to-do app is the only thing that we are going to need. So since you are using view sets, this will allow us to create all the CRUD operations for our to-do app. Okay, so I think the audio is better now. So the only step that we need to finish our backend is to create the URLs. The URLs. So for this, we just need to, we're going to name our main URL API. And here we're going to use the include. Let's include the to do dot URLs. Just need to import something here. First is the include, because we could use the URL here, but we want to create here file urls.py. Okay, so I'm getting this .urls. Okay, this file does not exist yet. It exists now. Okay, and after we copy things here, let's create the URLs. Actually, when using the view set, we don't need the let me see. Oh, oops, this is here. We want actually to go here. We are not creating URL patterns, but you are using a router, and the router is going to create all the CRUD URLs for us. So first we need to create the router. To be routers dot default router. But before this we need to import. Let's also import the views. From all import views. And now from REST framework import routers. And now the only thing that you have to do is to register the views here. Router.register to do to be views dot to do view set, the name of the view, and let's say the base name is going to be to do. Yes. Partners plus equal Okay, this line of code just is used to extend the router register here in the URL patterns. Okay, and think we have everything. Actually, let's do something before. Let's go here on the admin.py to register our model. So to do normal import models. Okay, this is working. So we want to do some things. Okay, let's restart our server. We can see here. Yes, and I forgot here what is. Okay, no, it's good. Why? Okay. Voila, now it's good. Yeah, server is running well. You just have to do the migrations first. I kind of postpone it, but let's do that now. So let's go here. This is why I like to have four terminals: one for the server, or for the Django commands, or for the React server, and another one for the React commands. So let's edit the backend here. It's going to be Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, everything is on, and now we just have to migrate. This will allow us to create our database in SQL. Okay, so everything is useful. So now if we go here, we don't have more errors. And restart the server again. Yeah, everything is running smoothly. So let's run here. We are going for two places. First, we are going to the admin. Let's go for the API. Okay, as we can see, we have the API that is running from API with the base name to do, but we don't have any data now. So what's happening here? Yeah, each time that we are going to that URL to API to do, it's going to trigger that views, and that views, they are going to do all the operations. First, they are going to retrieve the to-dos, and after we can delete, edit, or even add more data. But first, let's add some data in the Django admin. You have to create a super user first. Python manage.py create super user. Call that Danny. No need password. Yes. Okay. Your super user was created. So now let's come here. Yeah, so now our backend is finished. As we can see here, we have our to-dos. Here, there is no data. Let's add some data. Okay, so let's say that task 1, save. to do task 2, save another, say that to do 3. Okay, but I don't like that format. We prefer to add, you can add other styling. Yes, so to add the string representation, let's to define one. We actually don't need this. Define string and let's say self dot path. And now if we come here, yes, we have like the body in of the to-dos in our admin page. And now if you refresh here, we have all the information here: task 1, task 2, task 3. We can add new mores. For example, let's say let's create in raw data about completing to do for, let's say, complete through. We post, and there is our recently new data. And you can see this is the updated and created, which is the same at the moment. And let's go back. Now, if you want to edit or delete, we can just put the ID here. This is what the view set is doing, is giving the detailed representation with only that line of codes. So there's a lot of stuff going behind, but with this, we have all the methods allow. So to get the list of everything, we are going to the realize API to do, and to go to a detail view, you just have to put here the ID, and we can see here. So for example, let's just to idea, let's make a patch request, and now we have edited the body. If we come here, let's say we go for the to do 3, let's delete. And as you can see here, the 3 was deleted. Let's make here task 5, post a new one, and the new task was created. Okay, so the API, it's working. We could see that in Postman, but I think here it's enough. So the only thing that you have to do now is to create the design, the front-end design of the application. You are going to do is with React. So all of the data, this is the API that we created, and we are going to fetch the data here, so we can manipulate and create our to-do app on React.